One of the most iconic tanks of the Second World War was the King Tiger, or Tiger II. It was completely colossal and huge, and its size brought a huge number of problems as it would break down very frequently. It saw action in many different battles, for example during the Battle of Normandy, or on the Eastern Front, and even in the final days of the war. But the King Tigers would fight on during the final battles of the conflict, as Berlin crumbled in 1945, with Hitler holed up in his bunker. The huge tanks would fight on. But what is the story of the last stand of the King Tiger? Join us today as we look at this, and to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. As the Soviet Red Army rampaged towards the heart of Hitler's crumbling Third Reich, there were some King Tigers that survived to head back to Berlin to defend Hitler's capital. Some had moved from the Battle of Salo Heights and had been withdrawn back for the Battle of Berlin. A detachment of around 12 King Tigers was sent to defend Berlin, and they would start with engaging the Soviets on the Salo Heights on the 16th of April 1945. But around 6 to 9 tanks then survived the retreats to the capital and into Berlin, but these King Tigers were usually grouped in detachments of 2 or 3, and they would fight on in the Citadel region of the city, supporting the SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland. One group of King Tigers was focused around the Potsdamer Bahnhof railroad station in the southeast corner of the Citadel, and this was a strategic position as it would allow the Germans to spot the Soviet tanks and armour, and they would then have a good sight of fire upon them. In front of the train station were large plazas, which allowed the King Tiger a good field of fire, and this would also block the Soviet advances towards the Führer bunker, where Hitler was underground. Hitler was interested in where these King Tigers were and how they were doing defending, and he would later decorate the commander of these tanks, Obersturmbannführer Herzig. However, on the 30th of April 1945, Tiger 314 stopped Soviet tanks crossing from Moltke's bridge that were trying to assault the Reichstag. Around 30 of these vehicles were destroyed by one tank, which was commanded by SS Unterscharführer George Diaz, near to the Reichstag. This tank attacked from the Potsdamer station towards the Anhalter station, and they fought on all day with T-34-85 tanks and IS-2s the enemy. Diaz's tank would then be pushed back. On the evening of the 1st of May, around Friedrichstrasse, there were around 30 vehicles of the Nordland Division, along with hundreds of civilians and German officials and officers, who tried to get through the Soviet lines. This breakout had been pushed following the news of Hitler's death inside of the Führer bunker, and it was led by SS Brigade Führer Gustav Kirchenberg. It's believed that inside of this group was Martin Bormann, Hitler's private secretary. Bormann's remains would still be missing to this day, and he would later be judged at the Nuremberg trial, where he was tried in absentia and was then sentenced to death, should he have ever emerged in a post-war Germany or around the world. Many vehicles had been destroyed in this region by the King Tigers and other tanks, but around midnight a convoy led by a King Tiger was moving through Friedrichstrasse. But then some of the vehicles were hit by a huge artillery barrage, and they couldn't move further. But the King Tiger managed to get to the nearby entrance of a U-Bahn station, and it managed to subvert an anti-tank blockade. But then Tiger 314 continued to go through northwestern Berlin on Schausenstrasse, and it would then be stopped by a large blockade. Diaz and his King Tiger had to move back and drive off, but the tank would then get to the U-Bahn station at Schönhauser Allee in the morning of the 2nd of May. But the tank managed to get through to the bridge around the S-Bahn station, but it then hit an anti-tank mine, and with this, the explosive broke the right track of the King Tiger. The crew tried quickly to repair this and to get the tank moving again, but then the order was given to abandon the tank and then destroy one of the last King Tigers. It's believed that there were at least 2 other King Tigers which were used in another breakout attempt to the southwest of the Charlottenburg district. However, both of these would be knocked out and destroyed, and one was captured by an artillery team. Diaz's crew would claim to have destroyed 39 Soviet tanks in their fighting around Berlin before the King Tiger was knocked out and disabled by the mine. Interestingly, it's believed that this tank may have also driven over a German mine aimed to hit Soviet tanks. All of the crew of Tiger 314, except the loader Alex Sommer, who was shot in the stomach and then declared missing, were captured by the Soviets. They would then be held in captivity until 1949, when they were then released. Today only a few King Tigers exist in the world, as many were destroyed at the end of the Second World War and were disabled by the crews, who would worry about them falling into the hands of the enemy. The only example that runs today is found at the Tank Museum in Saumur in France. Some can be seen around the UK and inside of Germany and America, as well as in France and Belgium. What shocks you about the King Tiger is the sheer size of them. These are some of the largest tanks ever made, but their effectiveness on the battlefield wasn't always the greatest, as they did have the propensity to break down. But the last stand of the King Tigers, as Berlin crumbled, would signal the end of the war, days before the Germans would surrender. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.